Welcome to Your Anime Senpais. I'm John, and today I'm going to be watching and reacting to Fate Zero, Episode 4. And if you'll remember the last episode, we ended with Saber and Lancer. For some reason, I get Lancer and Archer mixed up, and I don't know really why. I actually just think both of them are Lancer, is what it is. But we had Saber and Lancer about to face off in a fight. Let me grab my notebook here in a second and kind of just review really quickly some things that were pointed out to me from comments I made about episode 3. So, just really briefly, and then we'll get into the episode. I'll put a timestamp somewhere to help out. So I did have a question about whether or not servants get a wish as well, because I just kind of thought this was all about the masters getting their wish, and they basically summon their servants, do their fight for him, whatever, win the Holy Grail War, and just go on. Then they just go away, basically. But I was told that servants do also get a wish, which, okay, that's a little more motivation to actually participate, more so than these command seals and stuff like that. The whole thing with knowing their names. It's been brought up to me many times about the whole thing with knowing their names and that giving someone an advantage. I'm not crazy over the idea, I'll be honest. It's been brought up numerous times by numerous people that Achilles, if Achilles was in this Holy Grail War, which I guess he might be, I don't know, you would know based on knowing his name that you would go for his heel. Well, yeah, but Saber, my counter argument is Saber being King Arthur. Is that correct? Would she have the weakness to weapons that can't be pulled out of stone? I don't really know what weakness she would have had. Other weaknesses were brought up to me based on the historical past of different characters. I'll just go with that. I can accept that. So I'm just going to roll with it. You know, it's fate. I've had some trouble understanding what a noble phantasm is. I've had it explained to me that it's like an ultimate attack. I've had it seen it referred to in the episode as their weapons. So I'm kind of just thinking it's a mesh of both. The weapon and the attack both are linked together as a noble phantasm. You can't have one without the other, basically. If there's a better way maybe to explain that, I've had somebody show me the wiki as far as like what those are supposed to mean, and that's just kind of what my mindset thinks that they are. I also had it confirmed that the classes do affect a servant's mind and maybe even their attacks that they have available to them. That's kind of cool. Depending on, I guess, every iteration of this Holy Grail War, you could have the same historical figures summoned, and they could be completely different each time based on what class they were summoned in, and also in their time period, I guess. That could potentially affect the weapons they do bring with them, maybe. Assassin being killed. So I've brought it up numerous times. I'll probably bring it up in later episodes in this review as well. I'm recording this after I've watched the episode, so seeing Assassin killed, I've brought it up numerous times. How in the world does everybody know Assassin was killed and what the servant looked like who did it? Evidently, many people were pointing out there was, that split second of a rat or a mouse or whatever, and other little things that were just kind of shown. They had familiars or different means of actually watching. So, okay, fair enough. I'll go with that. Servants living on past their master. If their master were to die, would a servant continue on? I had that question. Well, they pretty much told me that, yeah, the servant would keep living on because they were already given a set amount of mana from their master, but once that was expended, they would then go away. One last piece of info that was given to me was that the Holy Grail War is in Fuyuki City in Japan, which is a fictional city, and it's been here every time up to this point, which I've also been told it happens in other places as well in the future. Kind of interesting little detail about that. I have seen Fuyuki City on signs and different things like that, so that kind of clears that up for me. But those are some of the things, some of the questions, some of the answers. I got 2 questions I had that I had written down anyway, made notes of. I do appreciate the spoiler-free info and comments that people have left down below. I do appreciate my friends that do take the time out of their day to text me and answer my questions as well. I do somewhat raise a lot of them whenever I go through a review of the episode. It's more like my questions of what I thought, the episode raised. So anyway, we have Saber and Lancer about to go into a fight. Let's get into the episode and see how that goes. Charm magic? Is that what he used to draw them there? Oh, challenge. I guess this is going to be the first official fight of the series. I don't really count that assassin kill off a fight. Huh. So put up a barrier so no one else joins in. That would be a smart idea, though. Kill off the victor after they're kind of down. So even for the Master, this would be the first time she's seen Saber fight. Is that why she's in awe? Because she's never actually seen her fight? Well, yeah. You would want to watch both. Is his noble phantasm. So one is an item related to his identity, and one's just a actual real weapon, real as in real to this world, or not, didn't come with him. I don't really think there's an advantage to having 2 spears or lances. A lance is a better weapon to have 2 hands on. It's harder to attack, I think, with 2 long weapons like that. You could even maneuver one weapon better. And that's a good point too. We don't know actually how long Saber's weapon is. So assassin died, but there's another assassin. Okay. Officially, it is the second battle. I guess. So really, Assassin's not dead. We can kind of assume, where I'm at, that Assassin has more than one form or body. She is the key to shaping the course. And it was by her hair and eyes that she was identified. Yeah, that's the question we're wanting to know. Yeah, I would think servants would be on another level compared to even masters or whatever, normal humans. I could be wrong about that. Is there not a difference between a strong magic using human and a servant? You may use it. Do they have to get permission to use it? Or is it something they can actually also choose to do whenever? It's pretty cool looking. The sight of your sword. Okay. That was told to me prior to watching this, that each weapon has a key to identifying the servant and maybe their history. So I did learn that prior to this. Maybe about an hour ago, actually. Maybe 2 hours before watching this. Hmm. So now he possibly knows what type of sword? What sword she has? So he was, yeah. I mean, he was really just not even trying before. If this is what it's turned into. And like I said, I mean, once one lance in two hands is way better than having one per hand. Okay. Is it gonna play out how she thinks? Maybe not. How much damage did she take? Way more than she thought? Or is there something she didn't consider? Oh, she thought her armor would kind of deflect it a little bit? Is that what it was? Yeah, I could see that. Magical armor. Huh. Severs magic. Oh. So it's not even actual, like, real armor. It's actually magically there. Or a magical defense. Hmm. I mean, I guess that would help her move better. In that big poofy dress. Okay. Is her charm magic working on you now? He's already declaring his victory. Why is he backing up? What's he, Oh, that's cool looking. Ah, the second lance. Oh. Interesting. What? How did that work? Oh, he wants all the servants to gather so he can just take them all out. I do like his attitude about that. So how did that work? Did he, like, pop the spear up enough for her to run into it? Ah, interesting. That's a pretty severe injury. Really? Ha! You fell for my trap card. That. Okay. It's a little too convenient. Such a scratch. Your tendon is cut. Guess she could fight with her other hand. So is this technically the start of the third official battle? He's just gonna proclaim everything about him. Okay. Okay. Uh, Alright, that's it for episode 4. And let's just take a couple minutes to kind of talk about that episode. Actually, first, before I talk about it, let me just talk about what I liked, didn't like, and just kind of how I felt about the overall episode. Which I will say, that fight was pretty good. That fight was pretty good. I do have friends constantly tell me it's the first fight in the series. Expect better coming up. That was a pretty good fight. I do like the animation. I imagine it's going to get better. But overall, I will give it a solid thumbs up. We didn't get a whole lot of Holy Grail War info dump like the last couple episodes have had or hinted at and things like that. And I guess I didn't. That maybe that's one thing I didn't really care for about this episode. One thing I did like for sure was the fight. I did like Lancer's little switch up about how his spears do different things. Although at the same time, I did think it was kind of cheesy that he was like, "Aha, I gotcha." But either way, that's just kind of my thoughts overall on the episode. So let's just kind of talk about the episode from start to finish. Starting off, charm magic. Now, from what I recall in episode 3, that was never brought up. We start off the episode with Saber talking about charm magic, which I guess Lancer is using, is just exuding. I don't know. It's brought up. Is it an ability like how Saber has, can drive or fly anything? Is that Lancer's ability? He just charms anybody near him. I don't know. What we do find out. It's confirmed that this is the second official battle of this Holy Grail War. The assassin archer fight is technically the first. We also find out that a magic barrier was put up around the fight. It doesn't say by who, I don't believe, but I do think that's kind of interesting that there was a magic barrier put up just so that way it decreases the risk of other people interrupting the fight. So, kind of interesting. I did think it was a pretty interesting note that we couldn't, Lancer couldn't tell the actual length of Saber's weapon whenever it's invisible, which is a very good point. I never thought about that when they were fighting, that would be somewhat of a tactical advantage that she would have while fighting. So that was kind of cool. They would point that out. Of course, that advantage doesn't last very long because Lancer's able to reveal or cut through that magic and reveal her true sword, finding out who she is, and ultimately leading to knowing her identity and I guess being able to give him the advantage, which at the same time I believe it was also known to Saber who he was. So, and I could be wrong about that. I thought they both knew who each other was, what they said toward the end. At one point, it is shown that assassin is watching this fight. I've brought it up before. Assassin died in the first official fight. I've made the point that I'm guessing there are multiple assassins, and I'll just be upfront. I've had people try to explain it to me. I'm kind of just going by what the series itself is revealing whenever I talk about assassin, because it's not really saying a whole lot, and I don't really like having any kind of advantage or advanced knowledge on things. I would kind of like to go into this blind to a degree. That way I'm having an actual reaction to things. But evidently there is something about Assassin and his, I guess maybe multiple personalities or something like that, that has allowed him to have multiple servant copies, clones, something of himself. And Assassin is not truly dead, but officially he is I guess the way that I'm understanding it. The quote was made that the proper strategy is for the master to hide while the servant fights. I do understand that tactical advantage. I do also see where when Saber was fighting, her master was out there healing her, and I don't remember. I wrote it down somewhere. I don't know her name right off or how to say it. But having her out there healing, I know that the master, Saber, no, not Saber, Lancer's master was able to heal him. It was kind of looking like he was doing that, but he was hidden out of sight. Either way, I guess it would be more strategic for the master to be hidden. Having the master out there behind the servants almost, in a weird sense, almost makes it feel like a Pokemon battle, because you're out there like rooting for your servant, like, go, use this attack, use your noble phantasm attack, things like that. I don't know, it's just kind of a different way to look at it, maybe. Let's see. So the white-haired girl that I forgot her name, let me pull that up really quick while I have my notes. Where are my notes? My notes are right there. So, for episode 3, Iris Viel. Iris Viel? I think that was her name. So, having the white hair and the red eyes was a note of interest to the people talking about what's going on in the match. And they made the quote that she's the key to shaping the course of the Holy Grail War. Why? That's something I hope. I don't want the answer. Nobody tell me the answer. I'm just posing this question. I am honestly hoping that the series answers that question for me. But I'm just throwing out what kind of questions I have for this episode. Man, these reviews, reactions, things like that, I am so sorry if they are just all over the place, but I am trying a little harder to do things, so that's what you get. It was also pointed out that she is an Einsburn homunculus, or an artificial master, and an artificial master, I guess. I don't know what those mean yet. I do know that the Einsburn family name has to do with one of the 3 key families involved in the Holy Grail War, if I remember that correctly. Another question I had kind of pop up in my mind. I might have said it in the review, or the reaction was, can masters fight other servants? And I might even have brought that up in the last episode whenever Dew was arming himself up with all the guns and whatever. Let's see. So, during the Saber and Lancer fight, it is brought up that one spear can go through her armor because it's magical armor. It just cuts through magic, basically. And the other one does curse damage. Very interesting that these are the 2 types of weapons. So, it has its pluses and minuses because of the fact that, magical armor to me is kind of like, oh, I wouldn't have thought Saber's armor was just pure magic. I mean, I guess, does that just mean it's only there to stop other magical things, because it seems pretty real. But maybe I'm just thinking about that incorrectly. Ryder, he's not in the episode a whole lot, but for the little bit he is in there, I always enjoy Ryder. Ryder's a pretty, I like his attitude toward this whole Holy Grail war. Basically, is that he just wants everybody just basically just get it over with. Let's all have a big powwow. We'll meet in the middle. I just want to fight everybody, have a good time, have a good challenge. I mean, he's all about it. I enjoy his attitude toward that. He also just wants to get over there and fight with everybody now, which, like I said, I'm here for it. Let's just get this whole thing going. Everybody involved, just see it all up front. Just because it kind of just seems like, besides not really official fights like this, where it's not really official anyway, it's just more like Lancer threw out the challenge and Saber answered. It seems like, to a degree, guerrilla warfare might be different types of play where you try to ambush the other servants and masters. I don't really know for sure how this is totally going to play out. But, like I said, I like Ryder's attitude about it and his view on how it should be done. Let's see. So, Saber had her tendon cut, and since it was done by the curse damaged Noble Phantasm, it cannot be healed. But it kind of looked like through a somewhat like a second wind, or maybe just switched up hands, maybe being, if you're right-handed going to left, she was able to kind of hold her sword again and kind of get ready to go. Am I seeing that right? Is she going to be able to fight with her tendon cut? Is that something, even though it's curse damage, that eventually can be dispelled and healed? Or was it just like for that moment it couldn't be healed and eventually it will be able to? I don't really get that or follow that, but that's kind of all I really had for that episode. Not really like deep questions, just more like just different thoughts on things. I did enjoy it overall, though, and I do look forward to kind of seeing how this fight's going to end. Because it talks about being to the death. So, obviously, I don't really. I mean, I kind of like both the characters, so I don't really want Saber or Lancer to die. So I'm kind of curious how this is going to play out, because if that's the route we have to go in this, because that's the rules. Them's the rules, guys. So. If one of them has to die, I guess I would be rooting for Saber to live. So that's my thought on that episode and my review for it. So if you enjoyed this reaction, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell beside it to be notified whenever we put out new content, new video, new episodes. And do us a favor, down below we have a link to our Patreon. Go over there, check it out. We do have full uncut episodes and other content over there, and we would really appreciate the support. So with that being said, I will see you in the next episode.